So I would like to ask you for a very warm welcome for Yuka and Giuseppe from Toyota Motors.
Thank you a lot. Where should I be? Yeah. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yuka Tozawa. I'm working for Toyota Motor Europe, based in Brussels. And today I would like to explain how we are using and expanding our marketing activities in automotive industry with Axon framework. My colleague Giuseppe here will give us a very important technical implementation. I am a project manager, so I'm going to explain and set the business context why we needed to have these technologies. Okay. So I'm going to going through the 3 items. So let me explain about my company a little bit, and then business challenges for digital marketing activities area. And thirdly, based on our strategy of digital marketing activity to improve, we have decided to implement VOT services. VOT stands for Vehicle Order Tracker Services. So I would also explain business context, and then technical implementation, and the result that we have received from customers. Okay. So probably you have heard the name of Toyota. Established in 1937, so about 80 years ago in Japan. Since then, we've been selling vehicles over 170 countries. We have European establishment. Next slide, please. Yes, we have started in the European activities in 1963. I think it was in Denmark. Since then, we've been having the, 9 manufacturers in 7 countries. So this is also important to know why we needed to have vehicle order trackers. We still have some presence, which is 4.8% market share. I think we should still improve a little bit more for our presence. So that's our companies. Thank you. So in terms of business changes, I am working for sales systems in Toyota Motor Europe in information systems. Next one, yes. So recent trend in marketing area. So difference is, in the past, we had the tendency of the broadcasting to mass groups, now into the marketing activities moving forward to data-driven campaign for each targeted audience. That's the difference. So also, it is true that there are multiple tools are now available for the corporate like we are to be able to execute individual marketing campaign more in-house rather than relying on the traditional agencies. We also use marketing automation platform so that it gives us a chance to execute direct communication marketing. Okay. Then, that means what we as a corporate IT needs to do is to utilize internally available data to create meaningful messages towards our customer. That creates the personalized journey. That's what we needed to do. This is a really conceptual images, but this was a traditional way of doing marketing. That means, as a Toyota, we create a lot of presence like retailership, we have a TV advertisement, we have also websites, but those are really broadcasting type of communication. We put something in the space, somehow waiting for the customer to come into our spaces. But now what we needed to do in order to make a personalized journey, and can you go to the next one? Yes. So from Toyota to space, maybe at the retailership or website, we gather a lot of information about customers. So what we needed to do is to gather them together, then reaching out to the customer's space, and then asking them to come back to Toyota space. That's what we needed to establish. That's the new way of a digital personalized approach. Okay, so those are the concepts that we needed to achieve. Then how do we apply this in Toyota context? Then we decided to create Toyota vehicle order tracker services where Axon framework is essential. Okay, so somebody is contacting Giuseppe.
No.
Okay, we do. Right, so our business people in marketing has done the custom survey with Swedish customers and the UK customers throughout the car purchasing cycles. Excitement is always high from the looking for the car and choosing a car that what you want to have. But how, from the moment you decide, you sign the contract and waiting for the delivery, the excitement, which is a green part, is going down. And the boredom is going up from the moment of you sign the contract and receiving the deliveries. So we said we have to do something in this moment. Can we go to the next one? This one, okay. So then as a customer experience, what do we needed to do? What we wanted to do is to create the journeys in between from the moment order placed in Toyota retailership. We will create automatic account creation of Toyota personal portal website. And then we will start creating the order tracker information, which is linked to our logistics applications. So between 30 to 40% of the cars sold in Europe are coming from outside of Europe. So you can imagine it may take some time to arrive to retailership and until the moment of the handover. That is the area that we want to create a nice experience with the customer. In order to do this, what we needed to do is, of course, as an IT, what we needed to make sure that we can get the data of the customer, order information, and vehicle information. Those are the key essence of the starting of the journey. And then, once those three elements are together, we will start tracking on those four stages. Okay, so this is the vehicle order tracker journeys. On the top is the customer touchpoint. So we will create the portal account. That's where we can publish the personalized information about your order. But also we would trigger a message each time our logistics application tells us where the car is located. At the time of order placed, at the time that the vehicle is built in the factory, elsewhere in the world. The car is loaded into the ship. The car is unloaded in the harbor, which is Zeebrugge is one of the main harbor for us in Europe, and arriving in the depot, arriving in the retailership. In order to do that, we needed to link with the bottom part, which is our key applications within Toyota. So that is the order system, or the vehicle order management system, retailer informations, because we want to send the messages on behalf of the retailership. Also very important that we are linking with logistics applications, as I mentioned a couple of times. And also we needed to make sure that we can show the car that customer has bought with the right images, right color, and right description of each market. And the delivery is that we will listen to our central warranty system, because for vehicle warranty is very important. So the start of warranty date is usually the handover date. So those key corporate information we will have to listen to. Our team has created this engagement hub, we call it, where the Axon framework is used to orchestrate all those corporate information so that at the right moment, at the right information can be triggered to the customer. That's what we have done. So the previous one was more marketing view. Here is more for IT view. So top is the customer touchpoint applications. We have engagement hub with Axon framework to orchestrate all those information. Behind those are the applications internally we use. So from here, I think Giuseppe can explain how technically this has been implemented.
Yeah. There we are. So, as already Yuka explained, the domain in this kind of vehicle or the track is a bit complex because we have several kind of actors. So, for example, we have the NMSC. The NMSC is the national market. So it means that Toyota France, Toyota Italy, Toyota Germany, and so on, all the Toyota spread around Europe. We have, for example, also the VOM. VOM is the Vehicle Order Management. It's an internal system to manage order. Internal system means that is internal in Toyota Motor Europe. After that, we have also the CWS, as already Yuka mentioned, is the system for the warranty. And after, we have the SPIL, that is the logistics system. All these elements, all these actors need to send some message, and we need to process this message. And after that, we need to show the result of this message to the portal. So that is the web interface on which the user can see the car, which car he wants to buy, which status the car is. So if it's in the factory, if it's in transit, where is the car? And in order to permit this kind of flow, we need also to have an interface with some specific system. This specific system is the CarDB system, so the system that permits to get all the information about the car, and the dealer system, the system that permits to get all the information about the dealer, the retailer spread in Europe. This is the actor that we had in our system. The way instead of using a classical monolith approach, our idea is to use a CQRS system, so a common query system. So for some, the benefit of adopting the CQRS is something that, we already know, so the scalability, the flexibility, and so on. And the idea is to implement the CQRS using an Axon framework. That is the idea. So principally, if we speak about the architectural overview, how we put in place this kind of approach, as you can see, we have the Axon framework. This is the core part. So we have the Axon framework. After we have the Spring, we adopt Spring as Spring Boot, and everything is hosted inside an Heroku, as you can see. We are using a SQL Server in AWS. So that's more or less the configuration that we have. As you can see, we have here we have the system that we mentioned before, the product data. We have the VOM system, so all this system will send message to VOT system. On this part, we have also the Salesforce that will be responsible to send communication to the final user. So that will be the responsible to send the mail for the journey for the user. This is more or less an overview of the architecture that has been put in place. So next point should be, we try to go a bit deep in the code. As you already know, in the CQRS approach and the domain-driven domain, the most important element are the saga and aggregate. We did a good use of saga in our system. So, for example, we use the saga, for example, the saga for the order tracking, for example. We use also saga for managing the customer portal user account. So when we receive for the first time a message for a specific user that we don't have in our system, automatically we'll send a message to Salesforce, and Salesforce will send a welcome email to this user. So this kind of journey will be managed by using this kind of saga. We have also, for example, a saga for the vehicle maintenance. This is another saga that we have. Associated to all these saga, we have also the aggregates. So, for example, we have the aggregate for the order, so the core part of the system. So we have the aggregate also for the customer port account. As we mentioned that we have the saga, we have also the relative aggregate. And we have also the aggregate for the dealer. As I already told you, we have also an integration with the retailer system, and so we have also an aggregate to manage this one. In terms of domain, this one more or less is the query model that we have in VOT. As you can see, we have some specific query model. For example, this one is for the portal account. So it means that this query model will be the query model that will be queried by the portal. So if the portal needs to have information about the car, about the user, this is the query model that will be queried. After that, we have also a query model specific for the communication. This is another one, to take an appointment and so on. We have also a query model for the after sales. And this is the core part. This is the query model for the order for the vehicle. So as you can see, most of these query models are separated. So it should be really easy to query, to get information also in a fast way. And this is for the query model. Moving to the common model, this is the common model that we have. This part is the core part, okay? When all the events come on this entry. So after that, we have also the failure entry. So if we have some kind of a problem, there will be the failure event that will store the failure. And okay, you can see the token entry is something specific for Axon to store the token. And few months ago, more than few months ago, we integrate also the AxonIQ GDPR module. So in order to be GDPR compliant, AxonIQ proposed to use this specific module that was really easy to install. So we just need to install this jar, and after we just need to spread in the application the annotation in order to have the encrypted all the customer information. So that's more or less what has been implemented using the AxonIQ GDPR. This is why we have a specific table for this one. So as you can see, we have the on the left we have the query model, and on the left we have the command model. So and this is the way in which we implement the CQRS. So the client send command, the command creates some event. This event will create some projection inside the query model, and after the client can query the query model in order to have the information. For example, as I told you, the portal account is the principal, is the user interface on which the user can see all the information about the car, where the car is, the status of the car, which kind of car, the accessory that has been selected, and so on. So that's more or less how has been implemented. So.
Okay, yes. So thanks to the backend activities with all those informations, in all those data, which is very important, we have launched these VOT services in September 2017, so last September, to start with Finland. And 3 months later, we have done some customer surveys, but immediately after we could track how customers are actually interacting with our messages based on our data. So the delivery rate was almost 100%. Why? Because we have implemented double opt-in process before, so we captured a good quality of email address. Then open rate is quite high, and I think there is the, if you click once more, this is the benchmark from IBM with the top quartile data. So that's benchmark with 73.5 for open rate. Each of the messages from the welcome to the order placed, processing order, building progress, which is in the car is in the factory, left the factory, the car is in transit, arrival destination. We have, all of them has got the higher than the benchmark in terms of open rate, which is very good news for us. And the next one, please. Then this is the click-through rate, which is much more important because we want to ensure that customer reads our messages. And that is also, I think there is an IBM benchmark against, I think, 23%. We have far higher than the click-through rate. That gives us very good feeling of what we have done with this approach. Then, I think 3 months later, we have done concrete customer surveys, sent out the messages about 3,000 users who had experience with VOT services in Finland, with also the 15 people invited for the interviews to ask about how they funded VOT services. So basically, this VOT service is saying that they find it very useful to receive updates for the vehicle order status. 90% people says yes, and they found it useful. 80% says yes. And the next one, please. Then indeed, so this type of updates during the waiting phase, does it make sense, or does it make waiting time enjoyable? That says 90% says yes. Did you tell this experience with anyone, friends or family? 77% says yes, so that is very good positive feedback we received. Okay. Then this is about the interviews of selected people. They found it received updates from from Toyota, says 90%. Receiving update on the status Yuka, make your waiting time enjoyable, is 91%. We also received a message from the end customer, actually Toyota drivers. It was great to follow my car order. It made waiting easier. So for us, it was very good successful case, and customers are happy. Our national market companies who are responsible for selling of the car in each European market are also very happy. We start with Finland last year. So far we have rolled out already 3 countries, so Finland, Norway, Denmark. Currently we are busy with 4 other markets, which are Sweden, Germany, France, and UK. And we are also thinking to roll out 2 additional countries towards the end of this fiscal year. So fiscal year for us, the end of March 2019. Because of this success, we are also trying to add more extra information throughout the communication channel, like how would you like to customize your car settings at the time of the handover. We are also start asking for the any additional insurance required, and we are also starting in Finland to asking for extra accessories so that you can still add some more accessories in your car by the time of the deliveries, and actually we start to receive orders in place. So thank you very much. That is our story. Any questions? Thank you.